Kelly Malazzi, any title that has the word killer in it, you know that's going to be a good one.
It's brought to you by Quentin Tarantino.
This short attention span webinar, we have a new sponsor from Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino. I love that. Let's talk about how to get a killer introductory letter together for prospecting. So let's talk about goals first, Kelly. Go ahead.
Well, number one, I'm a huge fan of writing letters, and I do believe that a lot of people don't do this, so I would just beseech you all to please start doing this because it's a great way to get people's attention. It's a way to communicate with somebody and say, hey, you're on my radar screen now. I am coming after you because I want to have this conversation because I think that you're a good prospect for me. So it's really just a way to kind of get the ball rolling to say, we all need to do this, right? We all need to get new business. And short of it falling into our laps, we need to put a process together and a plan together that says, you know, I find out who I'm going to try to target, I'm going to write to them, I'm going to call them, I'm going to email them, and this letter is a great way to tell people who you are and what you want. We want to make a good first impression, so we want to be a great communicator. We want to make this letter interesting. We want to make it professional, but we also really want to make our personality shine through. For a lot of my customers, I've been helping them write letters because a lot of people claim to be really bad writers. And folks, you think you're a bad writer, you think you can't do this, but you absolutely can. You know, somebody in your office can help you, or you really just need to sit down and put pen to paper. But the most important thing is that your voice has to shine through in this. I was just talking to one of the gentlemen that I coach just yesterday, and I had given him a couple of versions of a letter, and he said, this just doesn't sound like me. And I said, that's okay. We have to figure out how to put your voice into it. And that's, again, really what it is. It's about creativity, and it's about putting some little piece of yourself into this letter that hopefully is going to get a little bit of attention.
You know, the two words that jump out on this page, one is differentiate. Mm-hmm. Everybody's emailing. Well, guess what's empty? The mailbox.
Right.
The second one is professionalism. You know, a well-written letter on letterhead, which arrives in a number 10 envelope with a stamp. There's nothing more professional than that. You know, a nice Strathmore or something, an ultra bright, a really good looking. That's a great first impression. Okay, great. So now we sold you on the concept of intro letter. What do you want to put on the letter? Well, there's an old adage that said that the three components of a good introductory letter, really any letter, you say what you're going to say, then you say it, and then you say what you've said. So, Kelly, you start off and you say, Dear Ms. Malazzi, the purpose of my writing to you today is to introduce myself and my company to you. Okay? Essentially, that's the first paragraph. The middle of the paragraph, then, is talking about Farquharson Printing Company and how wonderful we are and everything else we're going to say in there. And then, again, keep in mind, I'm not giving you content of the letter. These aren't the words you want to use. These are just the components. And then the last part is to say, thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself and my company to you. And then there's two more things there, Kelly, action item and PS. What would a good action item be?
I will be calling you the week of June 25th, and I hope you'll make some time to take my call.
Perfect.
And this is, again, my blog a few months ago, I offered up, I would edit and look at anybody's letters because I talked about how important they were, and not one single person had the action item right. They would say something like, if you find yourself in need of my services, please call me. Yeah. I mean, please don't be offended, people, but please, that is not going to work. It is, I am going to do this, and I hope, and I want you to do this very specifically. And sometimes I actually, at one point, was pinpointing it down to days and times when I was going to be calling. I will be calling you on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Please make time to take my call. I think it's risky, but I think it could also pay off. So the most important thing about the action item is that you must hold up your end of the bargain. So if you say Tuesday at 9 a.m., you better call a Tuesday at 9 a.m. If you say the week of June 25th, it better be sometime the week of June 25th. So don't overextend yourself to the point that you cannot keep up with the commitments that you're making in these letters. That's the important thing.
And then finally, you want to put a PS. And why do you want to put a PS? Because everybody reads the PS. I want my letter to be readable. I want my letter to be scannable so that somebody can just kind of go buzz through it. But I want them to see that PS. PS, remind me to tell you about my large format graphics capabilities. P.S. Remind me to tell you about our QR codes, our online procurement, or something that you want the customer to see. So here's a good shot. Here's a good letter. All right. I am writing to introduce you to an extraordinary company. I like those words. Then the middle part of it. I'm going to call you that action item. I will call you, as Kelly said, during the week of. And then finally, it's P.S. Remind me to tell you about. So there's a good letter. A great letter. I love this one, Kelly. This is something that I wrote with a customer. I'm going to lay this whole thing out there. And I said to him, why don't you, if you really want to shake them up, put something on the envelope that says print is dead. Print is dead. And then on the inside, write, then why did you open this? I got your attention. I can help you to do this exact same thing with your customers and prospects. He had written this very unexciting letter. And I don't know, this thought just popped into my head. And I said, you know what, you really want to shake somebody up? Boom, do something like this. You think it's effective? You think I'm just being Northeast crazy again?
It's called provocation selling, Bill, and actually the Harvard Business Review wrote a very interesting article about it about a year ago, that this is exactly the kind of thing that we want to do today, is that, number one, you have nothing to lose.
Sure.
This is you are no, this is what I always used to say to my salespeople. You're nowhere with these people. I don't care. I used to have a salesperson that would deliver Pop Rocks in an envelope. She got so much response. Are you the girl that sent me the Pop Rocks? I'm saying you have nothing to lose, so be yourself and do whatever it takes. I love this because it's going to shake them out of their tree a little bit. And look, are you going to offend 1 in 100 people? Maybe, but that's 99 people that you didn't offend, or whatever, make them uncomfortable, whatever. I mean, the idea of being provocative is to make someone a little bit uncomfortable, and that's what's really compelling about it. So I love this.
Yeah. Neat idea, and I'm waiting to hear from him to see, A, if he did it, and B, how it worked out. But remember, the first reason, ooh, look at that, there's another one. There's another comment there. Remember, one of the great goals of a good letter was to get attention, right? Mm-hmm. This is another great line, this bottom one in a terrific letter, and this was put together by a guy by the name of Sean Fitzgerald, and Sean worked for a company in New York, and he wrote, "We help our customers to find their customers." Oh, man, I thought those were very powerful words. And I encourage you, maybe that would be a good PS, Kelly.
Yeah, that would be a really good PS, actually. Good point.
So when you mail it, I think that you want to put this thing together probably on Thursdays. Send it on Thursdays. That way when you go to call somebody on a Monday, it's already there. Do you want to include samples? No. Testimonials? Yes. Kelly, why no to samples?
Well, this is a very complicated issue, but really, you run the risk of sending samples without being able to tell the story of the piece or to be able to explain what problem you solved and what the results were. You could run the risk of having somebody think you're too expensive, think you're too fancy, think you're not fancy enough, think your samples aren't relevant. It's premature at this point. I mean, you really want to say, I need to understand more about your business before I just randomly go grabbing samples out of my sample room. So.
Right. You don't want to be judged on the base of the samples because somebody can look at it and say they look expensive or they look ordinary or whatever. That's our opinion. Mm-hmm. Testimonials, we talked about that in a previous short attention span webinar, which we invite you to go check out. Include those? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So there you go, gang. There are some tips on how to write a killer introductory letter. Kelly, very much thank you so much.
And a big thank you to Quentin Tarantino for his sponsorship.
Send a check to P.O. Box 2401. All right. Thanks, everybody.